Not a single reconnaissance satellite recorded its takeoff. No official Pentagon report mentioned testing of this aircraft. However, ground-based radar recordings, rare blips on infrared surveillance lines, and some strange videos of a mysterious tailless fighter flying over the Nevada test sites in nearby cities point to one fact. The F-47 is already flying. Is this true? And what's known about the American sixth-generation fighter? Watch today's video to find out. The history of American secret programs has always been full of blank spots. From Lockheed's early experiments in their stealthy have blue to the emergence of the rectangular silhouette of Target Blue, and of course the legendary Aurora, the existence of which aviation enthusiasts have been debating for decades now. But unlike those rumors, the current situation is much more telling. Several dozen independent sources in the research departments of the U.S. Air Force, numerous slips of the tongue by service representatives, engineering purchases of the last 5 to 10 years, as well as photographic evidence of an unknown aircraft in Area 51, all come together to form a single outline of the F-47 fighter. During the Cold War, it was easy enough for the U.S. to simply create an aircraft better than the Soviets. But today, that won't cut it. The number of potential threats is growing faster than the ability to integrate them into a single platform, and the technology race has ceased being linear, having now become worked. Hence all the talk among Air Force officials and American aviation pioneers about the need to make the new fighter as prepared as possible for the network-centric warfare of the future, turning it into a kind of living node for friendly aircraft and UAVs playing the role of loyal wingmen. The early 2020s marked an era of qualitative change on the battlefield, outlining the main trends in air combat for the coming decades. Specifically, mass deployment of autonomous drones, new detection methods including advanced infrared search and track UR systems and quantum radars, rapid development of hypersonics, the growing role of information networks, integration of tactical artificial intelligence, exponential growth in the computing power of onboard systems, and the emergence of threats of a kind that previous generation aircraft simply could not physically take into account. As a result of all of the above, the U.S. has come to a frightening conclusion. Soon, neither the F-22 Raptor nor even the F-35 Lightning II will be able to keep up with modernization in an attempt to mitigate new threats. A new paradigm was needed, a concept for an aircraft that would not try to fit into modern warfare, but would be able to define its own rules. The very idea of the importance of working closely with a swarm of drones became one of the key prerequisites for the F-47's creation even before this fundamental project was entrusted to Boeing specialists, since the command required a fighter whose architecture would initially allow for work with dozens and even hundreds of UAVs. From leaked U.S. Department of Defense procurement documents, media reports, and rare photos straight from Groom Lake, the F-47's outline has become ever clearer. It's already known that this will be a tailless fighter with a characteristic difference visually reminiscent of something between a neglected low observable fighter from the Northrop YF-23 team, the European Future Combat Air System FCS, and experimental American developments of the early 2010s. External features include smooth diamond-shaped fuselage. This is confirmed by released images, both nighttime and infrared, indicating the use of a continuous design in which the wing virtually merges with the body without any sharp transitions. Something similar can be found in other recent U.S. Air Force developments, such as a B-21 Raider strategic stealth bomber. Lack of vertical keels. This, to put it mildly, complicates a control system, but at the same time dramatically reduces the aircraft's visibility. To compensate, the Boeing team will have to work on smart moving wing surfaces capable of operating asymmetrically, provide the aircraft with active flow control through small holes in the fuselage through which air will be blown or sucked, resort to fly-by-wire with active electronic stabilization, and also take advantage of existing developments in vector thrust deflection. Moreover, information has already leaked repeatedly that an engine of this type is being actively tested as part of the next-generation adaptive propulsion NGAP program with two competing engines, the XA-102 from General Electric and the XA-103 from Pratt & Whitney, an extended nose section without the usual air intake. According to some reports, the F-47 uses S-shaped, sickle-shaped under-fuselage air intakes that are hidden from even the most advanced enemy infrared radars, which once again highlights how much effort engineers have put into creating a truly invisible fighter. After all, low visibility was often based on geometry. But today, when creating a stealth fighter, no less attention is paid to materials as well. That's why when talking about the future sixth-generation fighter, the U.S. Air Force has mentioned metamaterials with controlled reflectivity or hybrid thermo-adaptive layers, which even without the fighter sounds like something out of science fiction. Of particular interest are the infrared anomalies recorded near Groom Lake. They are short, sharp, and most importantly, minimal in temperature signature. The reason for this strange behavior may be precisely that adaptive engine capable of changing its configuration directly in flight, switching from an economical turbo mode to a high-temperature combat mode without excessive fuel consumption. This provides at least 3 impressive benefits. A maximum cruising speed of Mach 1.6 to 1.8 without afterburners based on the logic that the next-generation air dominance project should be no worse than the legendary F-22 Raptor. 30% greater combat radius compared to F-35 fighters from 1,000 nautical miles or more versus 669 nautical miles. The minimum possible thermal signature, which is perhaps the most critical condition for survival in the era of active development of enemy O systems. Furthermore, a hybrid propulsion system in which electric drive modules provide the aircraft with a low-noise mode during takeoff and landing cannot be ruled out. These ideas have previously been successfully implemented and tested in the Splane line. For an aircraft to be as effective as possible in combat, a single pilot's no longer enough. It requires a reliable assistant capable of processing impressive amounts of information about everything happening on the battlefield, both in the air and on the ground. AI is the best solution for this task. Furthermore, the F-47's basic concept always envisioned maximum autonomy and perhaps even an unmanned version of the fighter whose missions could be adjusted remotely at any time. In this regard, the U.S. Air Force's developments obtained through the Vanguard program and the Skyborg project to create unmanned combat aerial vehicles controlled by AI played a key role. This also aligns with the approach the command has been promoting for the past decade. The pilots there where is needed and absent from tasks where it could become a weak link. The F-47's armament has become perhaps the most heated subject of debate both online and in higher places. There is no official data on this matter yet, but based on the nature of purchases in 2020 to 2025, analysts have put forward assumptions about the likely configuration of the new U.S. fighter. It'll be designed to carry long-range hybrid missiles, including the long-range AIM-260 Joint Advanced Tactical Missile, JADAM, an air-launched version of the SM-6 naval missile called the AIM-174B Gunslinger, and the AGM-158D Joint Air-to-Surface Standoff Missile Extreme Range JASSM-XR, which has a range of over 8,000 nautical miles. Also mentioned in the list of potential weapons were the low-cost miniature cruise missile LCM-CM, a project to develop a low-cost miniature cruise missile that would fit into the internal bays of the F-47. The Counter-Air Missile Program CAM, an early program to develop next-generation air-to-air missiles from the Joint Australian-American Hypersonic Attack Cruise Missile, HACM project, and even a low-power tactical laser weapon for fighter self-defense against enemy missiles and drones. But why, despite the loud silence about the F-47, do we believe that it's already actively flying? The fact is that dozens of sources and eyewitnesses who regularly monitor what's happening in the area of the secret U.S. Air Force Flight Test Center in Groom Lake have reported strange activity in the huge hangar located at the remote southern end of the complex. For a long time, it remained inactive, but at some point, a mysterious delta-winged aircraft was spotted flying near it. What's even more interesting is that these images began appearing in 2022. And with each passing year, the evidence of the existence of this tailless fighter only increased. Although another contender for the title of that very mystery aircraft besides the NGAD fighter could be the SR-72, the successor to the legendary SR-71 Blackbird, work on which is currently in full swing in the depths of the Lockheed Martin Skunk Works division. Granted, such an assumption will not only not cool the ire of aviation fans, but rather on the contrary, will excite them even more because they are no less eager to learn details about the SR-72. Add to this the fact that in 2023, information emerged about the existence of at least 3 NGAD demonstrators, and a little earlier in 2020, Dr. Will Roa, Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Acquisition, Technology, and Logistics, told Defense News that the U.S. Air Force had built and conducted a demonstration flight of a 6th-generation fighter in real conditions. While details about these prototypes are virtually non-existent, they undoubtedly played a key role in getting Boeing's F-47 program off the ground. The U.S. Air Force expects a first official flight to take place no later than 2028. Although, given the significantly accelerated pace of development, this could happen much earlier. Still, you and I understand perfectly well that this has already happened. Do you think it's possible to see the gliding silhouette of a future American fighter jet in the Nevada night sky right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more content like today's. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.